Hi, I'm Gregg from RVHaulers. One of the options my customers have expressed interest in is putting a gray or a black water transfer tank underneath the bed somewhere on our trucks. Those people that do a lot of boondocking or just camping where there aren't power and water and sewer, they want to have a good way of getting some of that gray or black water off of their coach and transport it somewhere else. They want to use the RV hauler as that transport mechanism so they can leave their trailer stationary where they've set up. Now, I want to introduce to you the options as to where we can put these tanks underneath the back of the trucks and some of the pluses and minuses of those two locations. The first location that everybody says is, why don't we put it in here? And this hitch and the frame of the truck extends down right to this glad hand. And in my thoughts, I don't want to have a tank extend below this lower bumper. Something that's hanging down here is just an invitation to get torn off or ripped or damaged over time. It'll also be exposed to a little bit of the road grime and things that get picked up probably from the front wheels, a little bit from the back. If we look at these dimensions, I can put in an 11-inch deep tank by, now my storage tanks, my storage boxes, they come all the way up pretty well to the frame here. So I need to have it inside my storage boxes, which come up to here. And that gives me a distance of 30 inches. The other dimension we have is how far can I run it forward underneath. And I'll take you with the camera underneath and I'll show you this void that's in here. But that space I've measured as well. And if we look at this tank, it's going to be about perhaps 32 inches wide, 11 inches tall, and 36 inches deep. And if we do the math, that gives us a 54-gallon tank. Now that's assuming we make this tank exactly rectangular. We also have to think about where this tank is going to have the gate valve or the dump. And what people have asked me about is, well, I don't want to get down on my knees. I don't want to get underneath there to deal with this. So the answer is we create a pump to pump it up and out of the truck. If you don't want to go to that expense of what's called a macerator pump, you will have to get down. The gate valve is going to be level with this lower bumper, maybe a little bit lower. So you are going to have to reach up underneath here and back a ways, hook up a hose, your big discharge hose, and pull a gate valve like you would on your trailer. We like to keep these things on the driver's side of the vehicle because if you think about your trailer and dump stations, it's always on this side that you always put the tank in the storage. It's away from the passenger side or where the doors are on your trailer. So this is kind of the pluses and minuses of this tank location. It doesn't rob any of the storage, which I think most of my customers want to keep. The other option is, or option number 2, I'll move the camera around and show you this one. What we could do here is take away one of our storage boxes, probably this one. This is the largest void in the back of the bed. And if we do our math here, we have 30 inches by 24 by 24 back to the frame. And that's going to create a larger tank. It's going to be a 74-gallon US volume. What we have here now is it's probably a little bit easier to get. I would probably put the gate valve and the connection point right under here. There's a little bit more room. Because this bed comes out at an angle, I've got a space. So the box would be square. We're not going to make a box that's all parallelogram and different angles. It's got to be rectangular. But it's a little bit easier to reach underneath here and connect the hose and pull the gate valve. Let me take you for a trip underneath the bed to show you the spaces we're dealing with. So we'll look at the one flat box or flat tank first. So I'm able to take a tank from the back of these airbags across the bottom of the frame, and it's going to come down 11 inches and towards me. So there's, hopefully you can get an impression from that angle where that one would go. Now swing it around, and if we look up, there is the storage that we would replace with a tank. So that is, here, I'll try to get the right angle. There. That's 24 inches from there back to the frame edge. It's 24 inches tall and 30 inches wide, leaving us enough room between the wheels and the tank. So you either go with rectangular tanks and save the cost of macerator pumps and just go with a gate valve, but you got to get down on your knees. If you avoid the cost of the macerator pump, if you introduce the cost of the macerator pump, we can put some controls, and probably in a spot maybe around this side. Actually, I'd put it in a box, but you can see on Gene and Colleen's truck, we actually created a little box in here where we have a display that shows how full that tank is getting. That's the other issue you have to think about. If we have a dump station, like you're pumping from your trailer down into a vertical stack that's perhaps here or something on the side of the bed, you want to know how full it's getting. If you're doing a gray tank, and especially a black tank, you want to know when you're starting to get to that level and to holler at somebody to say, shut off the pump, we're full. So I think that's a very important issue. The other thing to be aware of now is, I've been talking about tanks that are perfectly rectangular. If you look at a tank on your trailer, they are not. They are sloped. The bottom edge is sloped so that we always drain as much of this liquid out as we can. So we will lose some of this capacity if we go to what I would call a proper sloped tank. The reason you'd look to a sloped tank is it gets all of the liquid out, and it also is going to reduce your smell. On your coaches, these tanks are vented to the roof. So when we've got expansion, contraction, we've got things warming up a little bit, the odors are dissipated away from where you're kind of hanging out. But here on the trucks, our vents are going to be on top of the tanks, either in here, there's going to be a vent, or the vent if it's a lower tank here, the shallower one. So we want to eliminate as many odors as we can. We want to be able to get some fresh water in there, shake the truck back a little bit, back and forth, kind of give it a rinse, and dump and keep our odors down. So those are some of the issues with tank placement. Now there has been, Rocky is a good example of this. What he chose to do with his truck is he lengthened it. So he created a larger void back here, and the tank was kept up high. He created quite a large space, and one of the advantages to that is we don't lose any space. We don't have to kneel down as much. He was able to keep some of the stuff up a little higher, but he made his truck longer. And that's something that people are a little bit hesitant about. So if you've got some other ideas, where else can we put tanks? Let me know. I'm looking for ideas right now. We haven't done too many of these, and I'm throwing this out to my YouTube followers and my watchers to say, how can we get this easier to use, avoid the cost of the macerator pump, and increase our volume sizes? How can we make these tanks bigger? Most of the tanks on the coaches or the fifth wheels are 50 gallons, 75 gallons, 100 gallons. When we take away the slope of these tanks, we lose probably a third of the volume. What are the ideas? Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments. And if you have an opportunity, throw your ideas on the comments features here in YouTube, and see if we can find a solution. Thanks for watching.